Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. If it isn't Martin Scorsese sitting Marvel Studios and fade down, it's Ed Norton. Ed Norton is a man with a mission. I'm going to read you quotes from an article about this Incredible Hulk situation while Ed Norton was involved with the first movie. And it's very, very interesting. And you notice every time Ed Norton says something, nobody at Marvel Studio responds because he's telling the truth. Now, with the Martin Scorsese situation, we've had Samuel L. Jackson being childish with a response. Robert Downey Jr., I'm not sure how he responded. The truth of the matter is, Martin Scorsese has made some of the most critically acclaimed movies in the history of the art form. And acting like children and saying, well, not everybody likes his films like Sam Jackson did. It's pathetic, and it makes you look pathetic. But let's have a look what Ed Norton has said this time. Edward Norton says Marvel went back on its word over Dark Hulk film. Of course they did. The actor also talks about the cheap shot Kevin Feige publicly took at him. Edward Norton wanted a gritty Dark Hulk film. Wouldn't that be awesome? In the way of Christopher Nolan's Batman series. And he believed Marvel was on board. Turns out they were not. The Oscar-nominated actor opened up about his split with Marvel in the New York Times profile published on Monday. When Norton was approached to star in the 2008's The Incredible Hulk, he pitched not one, but two films, he told the Times. I laid out two-film thing, the origin and then the idea of Hulk as the conscious dreamer, the guy who can handle the trip, Norton said. And they were like, that's what we want. As it turned out, that wasn't what they wanted. Still, Norton said he had a great time doing the film. I had a great time watching it, by the way. And got along well with Marvel Studios and President Kevin Feige. That was until Feige released a statement in 2010 and said that Norton would not be in Avengers and took a shot at the actor for apparently being difficult. Our decision is definitely not one based on monetary factors, but instead rooted in the need for an actor who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit of our other talented cast members, Feige's statement said. In other words, Ed Norton didn't play ball with them, so they got rid of him and they threw him under the bus. It's despicable. And everyone fell for it. Even I believed it. Why did I believe it? I've always had a lot of time for Ed Norton. He's one of the great actors. American History X, if you ain't seen it, go and see it. The man's fantastic. But anyway, we carry on. Yeah, which was cheap, Norton said. It was brand defensiveness of something ultimately they weren't going for. Long, dark and serious. But it doesn't matter, he continued. We'd had a positive discussions about going on with the films. And we looked at the amount of time that would have taken. And I wasn't going to do that. I honestly would have wanted more money than they'd have wanted to pay me. But that's not why I would have wanted to do another Hulk movie anyway. Norton maintains there was no fight between himself and Feige during the production. Very honest by Ed Norton. He said he would have wanted more money, and rightly so. He's Ed Norton, and back then his name was more golden than it is now. I'm saying that Kevin had an idea of a thing that you could do, and it was remarkable, he said. No, it didn't happen to be on a tonal thematic level with what I wanted to spend my time doing. Norton also recalls his comments during the Comedy Central roast of Bruce Willis last year, in which he similarly took a shot at Marvel. He told the Times he was actually taking a shot at himself. His joke was, I tried to be like you. I did a big action movie called The Incredible Hulk. You know what went wrong? I wanted a better script. Norton said of the quip, this is a joke making fun of myself, but they'll turn it into like Edward takes a dig at Marvel. No, I'm taking a dig at myself, at a roast. People have to grow up. So very, very interesting. There's not much. I thought there'll be more to that actually, but there wasn't. But this is interesting. What do I think about it? Look, Norton wanted to do something exceptional. Norton wanted to do with the Hulk what every one of you Incredible Hulk fans wanted him to do with the Incredible Hulk. Do a Dark Knight kind of trilogy story. He had ideas for two films, right? And his ideas sound very excellent. He admits he would have wanted more money. Why not? He's Ed Norton. But the reason they parted company is not because Norton was difficult. They obviously got on during the production. I think the point here was that Feige wanted to do what he's done with the Hulk. And what he's done with the Hulk is this. He's turned him into an abomination. No, not the Incredible Hulk's nemesis, the Abomination, which I kind of enjoyed watching in the 2008 Incredible Hulk movie. They've made him an abomination in the sense he's a joke. The Professor Hulk thing. Imagine, right, Ed Norton had his idea. Come on, let's be honest here. What would you rather? Professor Hulk, right? Basically the Hulk being a stand-up, pussified comedian, or Ed Norton's idea of telling a dark, interesting, Dark Knight type of story. I think I know what I'd prefer. I talk to many Incredible Hulk fans because there's a kind of confusion here. Who's an MCU fan and who's an Incredible Hulk fan? And the Incredible Hulk fans do not like what Mark Ruffalo's done with the character. They don't like what Feige's done with the character, especially the element of Professor Hulk. Professor Hulk, right? There is a version of Professor Hulk in the comics, but I don't think he's that popular. Do you? I can't remember the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno TV series ever touching on Professor Hulk. There's a reason for that. It's crap. There's no reason to do it. But of course the kids love it. And this is why he's done it. Disney would never go. This is why Black Widow will never be R-rated. That's why none of their movies. And this is why Todd Phillips went to Warner Brothers. Let's do an R-rated universe because it's a place they can't follow. And this is why them and their minions have done everything to destroy the Joker movie. So I'm very regretful. I think what the idea Ed Norton had was interesting, but it's not over. Don't lose hope, Hulk fans, because we all know that Comcast own Universal, and Universal own the movie rights to Incredible Hulk movies. Disney and Marvel Studios are not allowed to make a Hulk movie. Now, we already know that Comcast defeated Disney in their acquisition of B Sky B, which was supposed to be part of the big Fox deal they did. That's why the Fox deal wasn't as successful as people say they was. In fact, it was a downright failure. Disney, one of the most wealthiest companies, Fortune 500 companies in the world, couldn't get the deal together. And ultimately, Comcast were bidding for Fox as well. And what they said in the end to Disney was, if you do not give us B Sky B, if you do not allow us to purchase that from Fox, then we will keep on bidding and bidding and bidding. And, you know, this will be an outright bidding war for the next few years. So Disney had no choice to say, for Christ's sake, we need Fox. We need it desperately. We wanted Sky as well, but we're going to have to take the hit there, and they did. So I think if Comcast beat them there, I think Comcast could be very passive-aggressive with the Incredible Hulk. I think they'd have to be absolutely insane not to want to develop a Hulk franchise. And it's theirs. They can do it. And I hope they do it. And if that puts a stop to the Incredible Hulk in the Avengers movies, in the MCU, so be it. Will not be the same situation as what happened with Disney and Sony with Spider-Man. That's different. Comcast are a very, very ambitious company. They're doing wonderful things with Universal right now. There are things behind the scenes that you can't see. So do not lose hope, Hulk fans, because this is going to happen. We are going to get a franchise. Now, would I want Ed Norton to come back? He's a bit older now. Could it work? I think, listen, again, I talk to a lot of Hulk fans. They love Ed Norton's film. They love it. Now, the mainstream didn't. There was lots of negativity about that film. But actually, the diehard Hulk fans really, I mean, there's a lot of Twitter accounts that are kind of committed to be about the Hulk, talking about the Hulk 24/7. And I talk to these guys and girls, and they want to see it. We want to see. I mean, look, they're doing She-Hulk. Marvel are doing She-Hulk now. It's interesting. They seem to own some aspects to the Hulk than others. So maybe Universal couldn't create the whole universe they wanted, but they could certainly tell a fantastic trilogy. What do you think? Do you want the Incredible Hulk to continue to be part of the MCU? Or would you like Comcast and Universal to make a special trilogy in the mould of Ed Norton's idea? Please comment down below, like, share and subscribe. Come talk to me on Twitter @MoviesTVMad.